Oh my gosh. YouTube does this thing where if I put my phone flat, sometimes it just says like, rotate your phone, rotate your phone. And it's like, bro, the phone is flat. Chill. All right. I thought I would do a bird, a crow, trying to grab a balloon or grabbing a balloon. He's fighting against it. So, like, I guess he's still, I'm trying to think, like, is he pulling on it? Yeah. Like this. That makes sense. We'll drop this foot up a little. We can even have his wing out a while. The shoulder. And then their tails are usually down and flat. I think I need to move his head up. No, it's fine. I think today is doodly day, so just whatever comes to mind. Hey, Epic, what's up? Oh, it's Gang Mario. Welcome back. All right. I'm not loving this one. I like the idea. I'm not executing it well, which is fine. Happens. Usually I would just draw it again, but I'm not feeling it. Oh, OC? Yeah, I'll do an OC in my own style. That sounds fun. All right, I'm switching up this paper. It's got like a bump in it for some reason. Oh, you guys are seeing my messy desk. All right. It's too much. I don't have Discord on here. Shoot. Okay, let me see if I can get Discord on here real quick. I forget because sometimes I use another tab. Okay, let me draw something else first. Let's do, no, like no ideas today. Let's do a robot. I like big square robot heads. Even though I think nowadays a robot head would be like a couple of cameras, right? Well, it would depend on what it's being used for. Because when we think of robots, when we think of heads, we think of like the face, right? And the face is really good because we know it's a face. But it actually serves two functions, right? You're like taking in all this information, your sight, etc., sound, all that. Hey, Carrie, welcome. The sights and sounds and all that are taken in by your face, but at the same time, it's also like how you present to the world. But those are two distinct functions. We just think of them connected because they're connected for us. But if you're designing or drawing a robot, right? Like you have cameras, for instance, these are going to be cameras. And then they're taking things in, and maybe you have microphones. We can put them in the same spot. And it does make sense to put these like on either side of the head, just like they are for people, because that gives you some sort of depth perception. You can like locate things just by the sound of them, with ears this far apart by judging the difference in how fast one hits one ear and how one hits the sound hits one ear or the other. And for eyes also, like you can see depth of field. You get depth perception from having your eyes a little bit far apart. So it would make sense for a robot to have the same thing and then like a big speaker for its mouth, right? Because it has to speak. I'm doing 2 speakers because we did 2 of everything else. And then that's all a robot would really need. But if it's going to be interacting with humans, it needs like a face because humans do not understand things that don't have a face. We think they're creepy and we don't like them. But it also shouldn't have too close of a human face because we think that's creepy too. So a lot of robots just get a screen, and then that screen, they make a face on it. I think that's really interesting. I am just drawing a robot, like a little robot. I don't know. I'm in a doodly mood today. I'm going to try to get my Discord up so I can draw. There's a request for me to draw somebody's OC. Epic is in the chat, their OC, and so I'm going to try to do that. But then I was also just kind of drawing this sort of realistic robot person. I'll turn them so they're the right orientation. But it's just a doodly day, Carrie. So whatever is happening, we'll draw. I'm so curious. There's so many different ways for locomotion, right? If you watch like, is it Robot Wars or any of those? They have a bunch of different like categories for how robots move around. And some of them move around by like vibrating things in different like speeds and directions. Some of them have like spider legs like this, although they're much more rare. I just think there's so many different things. And then like, we're probably just going to put wheels on them in general, but in some specific cases. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Oddpud. 2345. Beta 2. Oh, but no, that's a boy's name. This is a girl. This is a girl robot. But genuinely, it's a girl. It's a girl robot. All right. Today, there's like an old tradition, I don't know why, of doing like designing and making robots in fiction or technology in fiction that is like looks old, is like based on a technology that is in the past already. I think about that a lot. Like why when I'm doing a robot do I want to put like a TV antenna on them and a cassette tape player? Like, is that just me? I mean, it's not just me because you can see it in other in media. And I just think that's really interesting. Okay, let me see if I can get Discord to load. Let's give let's give 2, 3, 4. I think let's do 2, 3, 4. What's a girl robot name? Okay, let's give her some arms. I think we'll do like those kinds of arms that are all different. Just like you'll see. And then those like I don't know what these are actually, but they look like they kind of look like a building toy for me for some reason. I don't even know what building toy. But it's like 3 fingers and they're all just like blop blop blop. And it allows them to like do grippy things in all different directions. Although I saw a robot that had this brand new material. Um, and it was so cool. Oh, thank you so much, Epic. And basically, they figured out a way to make yarn out of magnetic material, magnets, and then they could. And usually they couldn't do it. They've been trying to do it for a long time, but when you break it down that much, they all just would magnetize together. But the way they've woven it now, they're individual strands and they're not magnetic unless you apply a magnetic field. And then they can become magnetic. And basically they lay down flat. Like I'm just going to do a quick drawing. So basically this new material, they like lay down flat. And then as soon as you apply a magnetic field, this is a magnet, they stand up and they like come to attention. And because of that, you can make them as stiff or as soft as you want. It's actually the stiff would be like if you lay them all down flat, now you have like a hard surface. And if you stand them all up, now it's more like you're hitting like a little brush. And so that can make something really soft. And so it's pretty neat. They can pick up all sorts of stuff now with it. I forget what it's called. I would look up like if you're interested, like magnetic fiber gripper or something like that. Now let's give her a different other arm, second arm, because why not? That often is how robots work. I don't know why her arms are raised up in the air, but maybe she's excited to see us. Okay. For the second hand, I want to do... Maybe I'll do one of these magnet grippers I was just talking about. I don't know how we'll draw it, but we'll figure it out. So she can pick up things very gently. Make it a little bit fuzzier so it's easier to see. There we go. I like that. I like that. Okay. I'm just going to give a little shading on the body here, kind of pad that out. Let's add a couple of details. I think we'll make this 2 parts, give it some rivets. Make the neck separate and maybe a screw so she can move her head up and down. Like, I think about how these robots would work. I don't necessarily like think about like where would we put the motor, but I do think about like would this serve a purpose? Would this serve a function? And like I think that is I don't know why I do it exactly, but because it's like a maybe we don't know what the function is. Like there's lots of things that I see and I'm like, oh, what does that do? And I have to figure it out. Okay, let's see. Oh no. Let's see if I can log into Discord. So I'm using a new, this is still the same old laptop, right? But since I had Discord on it, it's it's different. It's hard to explain, but I have to log in if I can see if I can. I'm just going to clean up these legs a little bit. I really liked how they came out, but let's just make them a little bit more precise, more finished. A tad less scribbly is really the only thing I'm doing. Not very much less scribbly, but a tad less scribbly. Okay. Oop, this one's too high. I mean too low. It has to be above on the page, above the ones that are in front. Otherwise, it looks like it's also in front, and that's not true. So we have to pick that up a little. There we go. You know what I think about a lot, like how our perception um, changes. Can I log in with Google? Come on. Mm. How our perception like changes, like how it just works, right? Like sometimes I think about how weird it is that something that's far away is also higher up in our vision, and something that's close up seems to be lower. Like, like why? So so weird to me. I mean, I do understand why in theory, like why, but it's still so. I don't know. I don't know why. I guess because I'm drawing all the time. I'm like thinking about it a lot because it's how you create the illusion of depth on the page is like by playing into the things about perception that do these tricks. It's the same as like something is small, it can mean it's very far away. It can also mean it's very small and right in front of you. But what? Someone's banging. Are you okay? What? Oh, should we give her a color? Nah. All right. I gotta think of something else to draw now. Yeah, I didn't think that was my password. Ah, I'd have to leave and come back to log into Discord, so I'm not gonna do that. Now let's draw someone new. We can stick with robots. Yesterday I drew a bunch of rats. Today we could do a bunch of robots. Let's do a boy robot. Yeah. Different legs. Let's start with the legs on this one. Let's do one of those ball wheels that can be turned in any direction. I don't really know how. I mean, there's ones where it's just inside of a socket, and then the motors to drive it are here. You get like 3 different, and then you can move it in any direction. So let's make one of those because I know how those work. When I guess you would actually have it be here so it can't fall out of the socket, right? So then, yeah, okay. So it's one of those ball wheel, sphere wheel things. Okay. Give that some rivets. Rivet. Oh, I was thinking about drawing a frog, but I'm bad at drawing frogs. My one weakness. Every time I do a single wheel start or character, I think of, gosh, who, Gizmo Duck? Is that his name from Tales, the cartoon? Let's do big shoulders, because if we're going to do stereotypical boy, then why not? I learned once you can draw men by drawing a carrot, like in the distance, in the far distance, and women by drawing a little pear. So, like, you have a woman, just, and a man. And I think, like, as a smudge in the distance, that makes a lot of sense. Because for like your average, because like arms kind of disappear, the upper body kind of forms into just the head. As a robot, he does not need a particular head. So let's give him some eyes. We'll give him one big camera. He won't have binocular vision. Sometimes I then do like the shutter. One big camera. We'll do, again, a single microphone. We'll give him, so I do think he wants to communicate. Well, let's give him like a TV speaker bar style. Like, I think we'll probably see robots built with more off-the-shelf parts. Like, right now, we're still sort of in the infancy of robotics. I mean, not, maybe we're in the toddler stage. Because I think infancy is we're a little bit past that. Like, we're past that. We're not, but for consumer robots, we're at the very beginning. And I think that we will see robots built with more not off the cuff, off the shelf stuff, because that'll be cheaper for the companies that are making it. And then, you know, I won't have branding probably. But you see that with different products still. You know, like I'm trying to think of a good example and I really can't. So maybe I don't know why he's shaped like this in this spot, but this is what I got. And kind of wraps back. And then, so the motor is probably down here, yeah. Okay, what if this is the casing for the arms, and the arms come out of here? And I think let's do sci-fi arm. I love a good sci-fi robot arm. I don't like Dr. Octopus kind. And let's have this guy be doing something like sort of expressive, like mimicking a human expression. Since he doesn't have a face, he has to use his arms in order to convey his emotions. And I want him to be conveying like curious. Hey, Jurassic Fine Art, what up? We'll make him be saying, I'm so curious about that, human. He's saying, So with these guys, this type of wheel, one thing that you have to do is it has to balance itself all the time. So what can happen is when they turn off, they just kind of fall over. I think they do design some of them so that they like can stand up gyroscopically, but then you still have to keep the gyroscope spinning. So like when they turn off, they don't fall over right away, but if the gyroscope inside them stops spinning, then they would. But I've never built a robot or done any robotics actually. I've just read about it. Okay. Now let's give this guy some ground to stand on. right. Microphone eyes. Yes, yeah, so he doesn't display anything. I like that. And then like what are his big shoulders even for? Huge processing power? It's a it's an interesting question. Hmm? Wait. Yeah, that's close enough. I guess we can do this and make this whole thing a little curved inward. So like not only is this wider, but it's also closer to us. And then we can give this a little depth. It's like sticking out on the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. Just all over the place today. Wanted to draw Gang Mario's OC, but I can't get onto Discord, which is fine. I can try to get that set up for next time. I should be able to get onto Discord on my streaming chat reading computer. All right. Let's add some wires and junk. And have these kind of go back behind him. And do a grouping of wires. Maybe even stranded, I guess. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just going to add little bumps along the outside so it does look like stranded wire, because I know stranded wire sort of looks flat on the sides when you see it in general, but it's not really. And I find that adding these little bumps really helps sell it as being stranded wire and not just something with a weird texture. Color would also help, but we're not doing color today. Or at least not on this guy. All right. All right. I'm going to draw an animal. Let's see. Okay, I thought I would draw a Roadrunner because I've never drawn one before. They have this weird thing. Okay. Oh, you missed the explanation. But if you go back, you can see what I said. Okay, let's do. So, Roadrunners, I've not drawn one before. Very interesting little characters. Like, yeah, essentially, Gang Mario, I can't get on Discord on this computer. So one of the things that fascinates me about them, I've not really looked into them. I mean, their shape, right, is kind of weird for a bird, I guess, because they're a running bird. That's weird, more like an ostrich almost. But I know they actually are slower than coyotes, which you wouldn't think because of the cartoon. But for me, what's interesting is like their coloring, that like crazy thing they have on their head. They like, yeah, regular. And then their eye. Okay, so their eye, they have like a white bit of feathers, and then they have their eye in the middle of it. And it looks almost like a cartoon drawing of an eye, even like in photos. It's real interesting. I think this is right, but it just looks so wrong. So like that's their eye, normal bird eye. This is their coif or whatever, weird. Yeah, and then it's like that. This part, out part is white. So you know how like with horses, there's this big debate about whether they ran and they were always touching the ground or if sometimes they weren't touching the ground. Well, if you don't know, there was a big debate when horses first came out to see. They didn't know if they were always touching the ground. I just said it, so now I'm just saying it again. But that's a big part of why like fast photography was one of the things that fast photography was developed to do. And I just think that's neat. And then we do know horses, all four of their hoofs leave the ground. And we didn't know that before. It's there's so many things that we know because of photography, or that we know for sure because of photography. And I think it's interesting because there's definitely people who like you look at some of Da Vinci's illustrations, right? His sketches, and he's sketching things that like happen in a split second, like a particular way a bird's wings flap, or how sand falls out of a tube. And like he does that, and it's crazy because like it he doesn't have photography. Like we don't know what method he used in order to do this. There are ways that you can do, right? You can flash a bright light, which it would be hard but not impossible for Da Vinci to do. And or like as soon as you see something, close your eyes so that like the image is sort of burned on your retina. And maybe he was really good at that, or he had a lot of practice, or he figured different things out. Had birds in a dark room or something like that, where it would make that easier and easier. But like still, it's crazy that like there were people who could essentially see the truth in these images and these things that are moving so fast that like a normal person, or the average person, maybe a normal person maybe could do it, but the average person was incapable of seeing. And I think about that a lot because you have some medieval paintings where like they don't know how to draw horses. So you have some where all their legs are up. It's interesting. All right, what should we draw next? Let's do another animal. This is fun. I guess we could do a horse. Nah. Let's do hmm. I'm at a loss. All right, let's do a sloth. That's how I feel today. Slothenly. Whoa. Wow. Dang, I keep throwing my things around today. This is a weird day. Oh my god, I forgot sloths are so like dumb looking. In the best way, in the best way. I think we should do the classic hanging upside down sloth. So let's throw a branch down and figure it out from there. So let's I watched a TV show and they were talking about, I think they were talking about sloths, like two or three toed sloths, and they had brought one in and like it hung on people. And like their claws look so scary, but I guess they're just not that dangerous. This is kind of like drop bears. They're not actually that dangerous. Okay. So, hmm. Hmm. All right. I'm trying to, okay. This is genuinely what's happening in my brain right now. Like I go, okay, all right. I'm trying to, and I can't think of the words of what I'm actually trying to do. So I just keep saying that. Do they have tails? Hey, GB, welcome, welcome. AGB's back again. Okay. Sloths must have tails, right? The majority of mammals have tails. So right now I'm just doing the bare minimum sketch to try to get a feel for where everything's gonna be. Okay. So these are front. These ones are in front. These ones are in back. This will be the face. Oh, it's upside down. Of course it's upside down, but that confused me for a second because you're so used to drawing faces right side up. I'm almost tempted to flip the paper upside down just to draw the face. I might do that. Jeez. Today we're doing a sloth. Ooh, new nails. That's great. I always think about doing my nails, like getting really artsy and like doing some sort of stencil or something on there, or like doing tiny illustrations. I guess my right hand would be harder to do. So everyone would see my sloppy hand. But especially since my hands are on camera a lot, I try to keep my nails nice and short and clean. But I've also thought about keeping them fancy, fancy. Ooh, French tip. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. I like French tip. I've always thought about getting French tip. I never did because like for some reason, even like just a solid pink or something feels a little bit less um I don't know, like for a guy, but I think I'll do a French tip, like a fancy French tip. Not soon, but I think that would be fun. I guess no tail on sloths, so that's good. I think the hump is more closer to its butt. Okay, that's closer to the shape. Oh, please go for it. Yeah, definitely. Copy the drawing, draw along with me. It's a good way to learn, a good way to practice, a good way to chill out. I'm all for it. If you do, I'd love to see it in the Discord. I know a couple of other people have shown me the drawings they've done. Okay, so the front arms are going to be closer to this. Okay. Then, so yeah, they kind of bend backwards. This one's fully extended, so that won't really matter. And then the back arms look like regular, so they kind of bend forward. And I think mostly it's about just kind of blending them so they're not just like straight trunks straight out of the, and they look a little bit more natural. There we go. Now the hair is really interesting because it does hang, which looks funny. Oh man, that's so cool. I have tried a couple times to work on a graphic novel. It has not worked out for me. I still have hopes. I still have some characters and ideas, but I sort of fell down on both sides. I couldn't it felt like I couldn't get um my gosh, I don't like the storyboarding very good. Like I struggled with the storyboarding. Like any individual illustration, I felt pretty good about, but like getting the actual like the layout and stuff was hard, which is funny because I did graphic design for a long time, and that's like a big part of that is very similar. I think maybe if it wasn't mine, I would be better, but I also haven't tried to do it in a few years, so I wonder if I would be better at it now. I saw some of my old pages that I had done. I had even done like some watercolor and stuff on them, and I really loved them. They looked really great. So good luck. I'm rooting for you. I think it's a really cool, like it's so much work, but it's so friggin' like there's like when people do them, basically anybody who does one, like as long as they're coherent, they're really nice. Like even ones that are, I say even, like, and you don't need to do color or um, even like grayscale. You can do line art and it can be absolutely beautiful. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I've learned a lot from how to draw anime and or how to draw manga books. I've had a couple that I thought were really helpful, really nice. Good tips for different things. I'm trying to think who is it one I referenced so much, like as a reference book was I think it was by Christopher Hart, Hart. I used that to reference like exactly for comic proportions. I'm still bad at drawing people. I've never gotten into. I have my anatomy. I think that's probably how I'm going to get better at drawing people because it's how I got better at drawing animals is like straight up learning anatomy. And I have my anatomy for artists book, but I don't practice enough. We did our I hope everyone had a good New Year. New Year Eve, New Year Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We did our predictions for what we thought might happen in 2026. Some of mine are already coming true. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close. So I had predicted that ube would be a new popular like. I think I think I'm just wrong where the eyes are. I might just have to flip this over. I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, let's get serious. So I'm gonna do kind of the just the God, my brain is at a loss. Not perception. And then we're gonna turn that into a triangle. And we're just gonna do exactly like it is on the box. Nose, eye, eye, little snout. I'll bring this in and make this all snout. Make these eyes little sad little eyes. Give them a reflection. Yeah, so I still think about the like the different quote unquote like rules of character sizes and stuff. I used the reference a lot from I think it was a How to Draw Manga. Okay, and sloths often look like genuinely happy. I'll try to get that in there. I think this feels pretty right. Their faces look too small for me, to me. And I think I'm just kind of, it being upside down and being too small is sort of making my brain think it's broken. It's wrong. I think it's right. There it is. I was doing too small of a nose. As soon as I made that nose bigger, I felt like it's correct. We'll have little eyebrows, even though I don't know if they actually have eyebrows, but it's good to do that if it makes people look cuter. Just like, I don't know if their smile ends up being like this, but again, it's not. Okay. And then let's do some texture. Let's do some texture. Getting the texture on. Add in the fur. So one time I was riding in a car. One time I was riding in a car. So who's fancy now? For texture, I like to keep it on the outside unless I'm using it as shading. So like here, it's bumping up against the chest of the animal. So I'm having the texture of the leg kind of come up. So it acts as shading. Same with here. That's where the texture comes up and how like there's none here because I'm not needing it for texture. And then here is the edge, but I'm doing it on the inside instead of the outside. And that's for shading, but also because on this animal it's coming down, it's falling down. And then I also use it to shade. Like if there's a bump here that's really easy to see in full rendered 3D with light, but you can't really see it when you do 2D with fur or, line drawing, I'll take the shading and the texture and I'll use that to define the bump also. I find that very helpful. I don't know when I picked it up. It's kind of a continuation of that, like when you have a stone wall, don't draw every stone. You draw like a few stones here and there. And it makes here, we'll do it for the branch. Because we don't want to draw bark on this whole thing. But what we can do is just draw like a little bark texture here, a little bark texture here, here at the corner, here where it like fades away to nothing, under the paw. As this, I'm using it now as shading by doing it under the paws, claws, whatever they are. And there, now that branch feels like it has a lot more texture, has bark, even if it's just sort of just popped on there. All right, what human thing are we giving this sloth? Ooh, we could give it a French tip. I just colored in the claws too. Let's do it. All right. I think I can get like a sort of nude pink out of it. And I'll just use the paper for white because I don't have a good white that'll really pop. Not bad, not bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. Not a hat. Maybe like a bow, but it's also sort of hanging. Yeah, that works. A little bow. I just got to make sure it reads that it's being pulled down by gravity. And I think we can do that. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. I've been thinking about this upside down. It's funny. It's funny how much harder it is. I didn't think it would be harder, even at all. But that's silly. I should have. I've definitely had trouble drawing things upside down before. Okay, if these are the two little ribbon arms that would normally be hanging down that way, and now are hanging down this way. So you don't even see the center of the bow here. Okay. And then you have the center of the bow is there though. And then you have the big bow part of the bow. I think we're gonna, some bows don't have those middle ribbons. I think I'm gonna get rid of those middle ribbons. I don't think they are serving. I don't think they're serving us. I think they're making it unnecessarily complicated. We can just draw a bow that is hanging this way. All right. We got the pink out already, might as well. Do a little cleanup and then make the bow pink. I have my tablet, drawing tablet back. So I should hook up my camera and do a computer live stream. I used to do these a bit, but with all our work and stuff, I haven't had it set up. But I could do a Fantasia cartoon stream. That might be fun. Or even just a all right. Hey, May May. Welcome, welcome. I don't think you're glitched. I'm doing a sloth. I'm just doing it very slowly. Just kidding. Let's see. I don't think we'll do the fur. I'm trying to think if I'm going to do one more doodle. Let's do a geometric goose. We can do a Pete the Duck. Let's do an angry Pete the Duck. I mean, Pete the Duck's always angry. So now I'm torn. Now I want to do both. I said both. Okay, we're doing a Pete, it looks like. I wonder what he's mad about. Could be anything. He's really upset. Look at his arms are out. Got his tie. His shirt, his jacket. There we go. Jackets took me forever to figure out how to draw jackets, man. Like, I don't know. I think I thought they had collars, like shirts. I don't know. It took me a long time. And I wear jackets. I had to, even working with my own personal knowledge, I had to take photos and like really figure out what was going on. This is the aphantasia curse, I think. It's like I can't imagine it. And so I either know what it looks like or I don't. I think that's why I try to I saw a drawing, and hang on, let's just give him an angry eye. I saw a drawing, and it was asking about, like, if you had a giraffe, right? I don't really know what giraffes look like. If you had a giraffe say hi, and it was wearing a tie. Is it wearing a tie here? Right? And then like its jacket or whatever. Or does it wear its tie in the other logical place? Hello. And I don't know if I have a strong opinion on this. Like, I think this one looks more like a person, and this one is weird looking, but not like, maybe in giraffe culture it's fine. Like, I don't think animals need to look. For me, the weird thing is like the shirt keeps going all the way up, but because a jacket doesn't have a collar and it sits on the shoulders, the jacket doesn't. And then like, are there buttons all the way up the neck? Because like sometimes in human shirts, you'll get two little buttons on the neck, but that's pretty rare. Like usually you just have the one at the top, but our necks are very short. Like, is it just one at the top and this whole thing is open? That doesn't make any sense. So there must be little buttons going all the way down. I think if we start getting into this conversation though, like then we have to start wondering who's buttoning the buttons. Do they have like little helper monkeys who are like hanging out, ready to button buttons for them? Probably not. All right. I cannot think of what monkey ears look like. This no longer looks like Pete the Duck. It looks like a sad duck. I don't know why he's so sad about. He's I appreciate that. He is a sad duck, and I do feel for him. Like he has a rumpled jack. I don't know why I said it twice. Let's do his tie. Let's do his tie metallic purple. Metallic. Heck yeah. Metallic purple tie duck. All right. Unfortunately, I am ending early today. I'm still in the weather, so I better rest because it's better to be over the weather than under the weather. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.